good to be here with you guys. Anyway, funny that we were just discussing. Well, what could we do if just the four of us? What would we actually talk about if it was just the four of us? But actually, honestly, we probably end up talking about what we're going to talk about anyway, right? Which is memes, which is crypto culture, which is narratives, which is like to be honest, the most fun thing for me anyway. Like, it's what I spend my days thinking about. It's what we do a lot of at Hype. So. Don't need to do intros because it's on the back and other things, so let's not do that. What I wanted to start with, which I thought would be way more fun, is just to go down the line and basically tell me what is the best meme that you have that you like to use on your phone. Like the number one meme right now that you're like templated. I know you've all got stuff on your phone with memes that you use. So let's go down the line. Tell us who you are and what your favorite meme is. Go.
Hello, everybody. My name's DeFi Dave. I'm the head of growth of CAP. So I use different memes, depends on the context, and it really depends on the inspiration I get in the moment. The last meme I made was in reference to, like, I feel like I get asked to be on a podcaster space every week. And do you guys know, like, the one of Patrick and SpongeBob playing basketball, and he's like dunking, and that one? 100%. So I made one for my, like, work Telegram group saying another podcast space, Twitter space for DeFi Day.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Love it.
I just think in memes, honestly. I think we all do.
I love memes, man. They tell a serious story. That's great. What about you?
So this question caught me off guard, and I thought, what? So yeah, this directed me towards the meme that is not visual one, but it's tweeted by the Sam Bankman-Fried. What? This is something that I use very often in the tweets as a response. Also, when we are talking about not so obvious memes, I also like stickers on Telegram. Like, they can share more than 1,000 words. So my recent favorite one is a yellow boy sticker pack with the smoking cigarette, which is showing, like, I don't know, something that everything is fine. So, yeah, maybe that's it.
No, I like that, actually, because when we think of memes, we just think of visuals, right? But actually, yeah, the one watt is like absolute hero.
I was going to say the one watt, the SPF, the watt, and then the WHAP. Like, that's a banger.
Yeah, banger. Have you any other templated memes you have in your phone that you're like go-to?
I don't really have any template memes. There's been a bunch of photos, actually. There was one of Reka that went viral this week. But the one for Rip is like Lopunny. There's a meme that I like goon over Lopunny, who's like a Pokemon, who's kind of hot, but yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah. You wouldn't? You wouldn't?
What?
No cruise-related memes? Nothing?
No cruise.
No
more cruise. No more cruise.
No more cruise.
Please. I need freedom
Cruise.
from the cruise.
I'm out of the context.
Oh, right. You don't want to know the context, please.
Should we explain it?
Well, we're going to get to that. I've got a whole topic on the cruise. Don't worry about that. We're going to get to proof of cruise. So, okay, look, we're on the topic of memes. So, like, I think it's actually really valuable because we just talk, like, we all use them, we talk about them, but, like, there's genuine value in them. The question is how to use them, when to use them. Are they cringe for certain brands to use them? I'm curious to get your take. Like, how should you be using memes? Like, do you just flood the timeline with them? Do you have to use them in a certain way? Do you have a style yourselves? Like, you guys all have your own personal brands. Like, you use a lot of memes. Like, what? Just curious. How do you guys approach it?
Yeah, I think it's on a situation-by-situation basis. It's very subjective. It's either like you know or you don't know. Some people just have a taste and they understand the nuances of when to use certain memes in certain situations. Like I said, I think it's a case-by-case basis. I don't know, yeah.
So I think it's really difficult to say some, factors that is, that's saying that you can use it or not. It's more about feeling. But also, in fundamental level, like, memes are the information on the basic level to, like, say something, but not using so many words. Yeah, so I think when you want to express some things that you can't describe, or you just want to express something that is more complex, so memes are very helpful to share it with the second person.
Yeah, memes. I think Richard Dawkins, he had an actual definition of memes. It's the smallest unit of an idea, in the same way that genes are like the smallest unit of biological information. And so memes, they build up together, they form an idea, which form into, stories, which form into movements. And so keeping that in mind, like, memes do add up over time.
Yeah, there's actually a book from the 90s about memes, which is it used to be a cultural thing that's like kind of passed down. And so it's kind of lost its definition in the like kind of modern day. But it is that thing, it's like that, what the smallest amount of information to get like an idea across. It does come across cringe at times. I think brands do misuse them quite frequently. And I think that often comes down to the marketer at the brand doesn't have full context of crypto Twitter. They're not a native. They're not like tweeting every day. And I think you have to be in the trenches. You have to understand these things to be able to like post well and like post in like a non-cringe way to actually like execute on a meme. It's pretty tough. And I think there's few brands that actually do it pretty effectively. So yeah.
Do you think that's why we've seen the rise of CT lead roles this year? Because
CT lead, bro.
Well, but because you need like whatever that is, that role. Like,
well,
but
that role was kind of bullshit because Coinbase had it listed in like November, and no one really talked about it until Alex got the role, and then everyone was hiring for a CT lead, and it was kind of crazy to me that like kind of narrative on hiring came about just from Alex going viral with his role, and it is kind of a bullshit title of like. You have to have context and you have to be in the trenches and you have to spend time on crypto Twitter. And I think, again, like I said, some marketers don't spend a lot of time on crypto Twitter and they fall short when they don't post a good meme or like a contextual meme. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I do marketing for a living, right? And so I like to think of some of the boring stuff when it comes to it as well. But for me, like there's you guys familiar with the emotional selection theory? It's like this idea that basically visual stuff has a much more emotive response to people, right? And more emotive stuff tends to be more memorable, more repeatable. People share it more. And I think that's why
people don't read anymore, so
right. Yeah, well, exactly, right. And so I think the memes, visuals, like these, just a really strong image. People don't always realize the power that something like that actually has. And I think that I can't remember, it was like early 2000s, maybe 2010s, there was a bunch of studies and stuff done on it. Like they studied a load of like journalism and, the things that have real like heavy, I don't know, high arousal emotion stuff really worked well. So I guess that's why rage baiting works, right? Because it's kind of high arousal, emotive. And I think memes have that element, but rage baiting does too. What do you think about rage baiting and like brands in crypto? Is because founders do it, individuals can do it. What about brands in crypto? Can you get away with rage baiting?
I think it can be cringe at times, probably most of the time. I think there's like a very intelligent, witty way to do it, but I can't think of any examples of it being executed that way. Maybe if you guys know one.
Polymarket's pretty good at it. And Polymarket is probably the best. And that stems from Hugo Martingale, who's like kind of the CMO there. He's very switched on. He's like the perfect user of Polymarket. He's super switched on to like US politics and prediction markets. And he is like the perfect user of Polymarket. And he's able to communicate and tweet and Replyguy and rage bait so effectively because he understands the product to like a really distilled level.
Okay, so I think we're all in agreement. Memes matter. Memes are important, but you've got to really have deep knowledge and like context to be able to do them right. Okay, so I want to pivot a little bit because the other kind of topic here is narratives, right? And crypto communities and how, memes form a big part of that. But Dave, I kind of want to come to you because we actually talked about this yesterday a bit. But you wrote an article earlier this year about law building. And the idea of law building, which I think is really interesting. I actually took a line that you wrote because I want to ask you about this.
Yeah.
So you wrote, law building is the spiritual infrastructure that brings together and binds communities. But law building has been replaced by marketing. Now I'm really interested in that idea. And can you tell us a bit more about like what do you mean? Like what's that thesis? What do you mean by law building?
For me, law building happens from the bottom up. It stems from the community and it's an act of co-creation on all the different members of the community. Marketing to me is top down and quite inorganic. I don't mean to shit on marketing, but I kind of am here.
You're forgiven.
Yeah. For me, like something I've noticed over the past few years is everything being optimized towards numbers, everything being optimized towards, I like to call it, instead of product market fit, market product fit for like raising and stuff. And so you get something that's very fickle and something that really doesn't last. That lasts for a short time to optimize for short-term goals, but it doesn't stick. It doesn't last. And all too often you see things just collapse once the facade just fades. Lore building, on the other hand, is much more of a slow cook. Like I said, it's the community co-creating a story together, and it's the job of lore builders to basically plant the seed and basically notice things, notice memes that pop up in the community, and double down on it. Like for me, I've been like doing stuff with ETH Bushwick. That's basically a lot of my knowledge from this comes from ETH Bushwick and the observations I've seen there, because I've just seen things arose. Like there was a meme in that with Terrence, if you remember.
Six inside.
Six inside, yeah, six inside. I don't know. Once I like saw people like just like how they were just gravitated towards six inside and Terrence and all that stuff, I just doubled down on it. I made hats, I did all this stuff, and it's really like the glue, like different memes that are the glue that binds communities together.
What was the Terrence line? It was like, I'll pay at the door.
Yeah, so the story behind that is we were actually out in New York City. We were at Studio 151. It was like 10 of us at a table, and Terrence, he didn't have his phone, so he texted off somebody else's phone in the group like, "This is Terrence. It's after 12. Like we have a table. Blah blah blah.
Pay the cover and
pay the cover." And that just became a copy pasta. It was just so random.
But so many group chats, like just pasted. Yeah.
And then out of that actually became an event. We had like a whole event like dedicated to Terrence, ETH Soho Grand. And with that event, I called it like Operation Gaslight and Gatekeep, because I didn't expect it to get so big. And so then I had to like cancel it. I'm like, Terrence isn't even in town. And then after I canceled it, I just like sent it to a few group chats. I'm like, yo, this is actually happening. So
how do you replicate that, right? So
you can't replicate it. You can't replicate it at all. It's
okay. How do you notice an opportunity to make it happen then?
For me, it's all A/B testing. I'm just like constantly trying, not even trying things, but I'm seeing what hits with the community. I'm seeing it, I mean, I do it too with Cap, seeing like what different narratives hit with Cap. Like something that I noticed that hit was institutions. People are like, especially with stablecoins, everyone's all about like the convergence of TradFi and DeFi. And so things I would tweet is like, institutions love Cap. People really gravitated towards that, and it's kind of stuck around a bit, especially with like our seed being led by Franklin Templeton. Sticky things like that, and when you see people gravitate towards something, you double down on it. So A/B testing and doubling down when you figure something out.
Okay, so I'm just trying to get to the crux of, because I get it, like the idea of law building makes a lot of sense, but you said it's time consuming, it's hard, it's almost impossible to manufacture. So
yeah, like I actually don't think it's that hard. Well, for me, it comes pretty naturally. I think you just have to be tapped in. You have to be tapped in. You have to be aware, like very emotionally aware of what people are are basically attracted to, and
To me, it's a bit more like art versus design, where like the law building is the art side of things, and design is like marketing, where it's like much more like concrete. There's like defined rules within like UX design or whatever it might be. Whereas art is a bit more artistic approach. You have to feel out. You have to feel the vibes.
Exactly.
And you have to be able to like execute on something that is emotional, and that's exactly different.
It's more art than science.
Yeah.
You put it pretty well. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So then narratives kind of spawn from this, potentially, would you say?
Yeah, 100%. I think like a recent narrative that came about is like, I called Michael Saylor the lore builder of Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin had like Satoshi and then a bunch after, but Michael Saylor is the lore builder that brought Bitcoin to Wall Street because he was able to speak in their language. And I felt like validated on my thesis when I saw Tom Lee do the same thing for Ethereum, bringing Ethereum to Wall Street because he spoke their language. He dressed like them. He used the memes that they understood.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. So, when we think about what a narrative actually is, or like how you invest in one, how you spot them, Jamal, what do you think? Like, how do you identify when it's, because there's a lot of shit out there, right? There's a lot of noise. How do you identify? I need to jump on that. Like, that's a thing.
Yeah. So I think my way of thinking is that narrative is built from two things. One is fundamentals. This is self-explanatory. And hype. And I think it's harder to spot hype early, but what you can do is to spot fundamentals and start to look for the potential catalysts. And that's the moment when you can try to bet on the particular narrative to take off. That's the way I'm thinking that people can bet on the narratives. Right now, we are seeing, poly market. We are seeing like markets to bet on the trends. And I really love it because this is like a crypto thing to give a liquidity to the stuff that was illiquid before. And I think right now the whole area will transform into betting on hype itself, not only fundamentals.
Okay. So Jake, and it's the same for you, Jake. Like, how do you jump? Because I think you're actually really, really good at this. Like, you spot something really quick, and you're like one of the first on it usually, and that tends to work really well. How do you spot that?
I think it's just like there's two things I want to say. There's like you have to be quite concise, and you have to decide quite quickly, and you have to act on it because next week it'll be gone. And so like a few weeks back there was a big Pokemon like trend, and that was kind of the narrative of the week. And so we tried to jump on that quite quickly, and we got as many like kind of media gigs as possible. We tweeted a bunch. We tried to get as much attention, and it's just like spotting that and just acting on it. And so I think again, like some teams have a disconnect between their like marketing department and like their legal team, and like they don't have full control. And I think oftentimes the marketing needs to have full control to be able to like tweet what they want because they have to act quickly. They can't wait like, I don't know, over a weekend for like a legal response. They have to be able to act. So they have to have their like rule set defined and be able to work within that. And again, I bring it back to Polymarket because they do it so well. Like Hugo understands what he can and can't tweet. And so they're able to act very quickly and jump on things. Like as soon as a meme drops, they're very quick on it as well.
I view it as catching a wave. Like we're sitting out here in the ocean trying to catch. Yeah. You can't be too early. You can't be too late. But if you can ride it just right, you can ride into the sunset.
And the other thing as well is like even if you crash out and the wave dies, you can try again.
There's always another wave.
Yeah, there's always another wave. There's
a cruise ship passing by.
It's funny you should mention that.
No, but there is always another opportunity. So like even if you try stuff, like I think Dave said this before, like experimenting and just A/B testing and just giving it a go. Particularly on your like personal account, you can basically tweet whatever you want and someone will forget about it next week. And still with brand accounts, I think most people forget about like most controversies pretty quickly. So like you can go pretty edgy and still get away with stuff.
Yeah, people have short-term memory.
Massively. Honestly, one of the biggest problems we have at Hype, certainly all the time with brands, is speed. Right, because for us, it's not our account, right? It's a brand account. So what we try and do, exactly as you said really early on, is like give us some rules, like give us some guide rails, what we can and can't say, and but let us go. Because otherwise, I don't know, it's a Friday night and you're all off, but like something massive has happened. We need to jump on it. We're like pinging Slack, hey, can we have approval to post this, please? And it's like you can't do.
Yeah, or even time zones as well, because some people are based in Asia and narratives form over like the day, and you have to, like I said, act quickly and be like quite concise for your acting, and it is that setting that defined rules is like how I think you do marketing well. Yeah,
no, agreed. So okay, earlier we talked about law building. You said it's more art than science. What about virality, right? How do things go viral? Is that art? Is that science? Is it luck? Is it skill? Like how do you make something go viral? What makes something go viral, do you think?
I think there's two types. You have one that's kind of like the sugar rush, and the other is building your account over time. And so you just have a constant stream of not huge hits, but like things that just like do well. I feel like probably the most viral thing I tweeted this year was when I was a TradFi Dave. I made a meme about the tariffs and then actually made it to normal Twitter. And I was like, what?
Oh, that's crazy. Winning. That's great.
Yeah. And so I think that made it to normal Twitter because it was something, we were talking about like waves. It was like perfect timing. I also think like the fact that I had it as my face instead of Sylvester Stallone, it was like a lot easier for people to identify with and tweet. And that one was more of like a sugar rush because it was like, oh, this is a narrative here and it's out the next day. But I feel like other things I tweet now is like, they all do like pretty well. I don't know, like I just kind of just go off the dome, and I think people relate because I'm just vulnerable out there. And I think that's the key to just having impressions, is just being vulnerable.
So you think it's a skill game? Like you can make you can make virality.
I think you just have to develop your own unique voice. I think everyone on stage has developed their own unique voice. So
yeah, regarding the creating virality and trying to go viral, I think I would advise to people to take control over what they can like create. Like timing is crucial. Like, is the whole idea contagious enough for people to spread between each other? It's better to try again until like something will hit.
A/B testing.
Yeah, just testing. That's what boys said before. Yeah.
Jake, same.
Yeah, I'd say it's like 99% skill and then like 1% luck. Like I think you can craft your experiences and increasing the surface area, like you guys said, like just trying stuff is a big. But you can just jump on narratives and you can just kind of jump on memes and use those to like springboard your way. Like you mentioned the cruise thing. Like I'd seen like people do that on their like Tinders. They'd have like a thing where they ask for pitch decks from like guys to like pitch them on taking them on a date. And so I kind of remixed that into the cruise application form for finding a girlfriend to go on the cruise. And I knew it was going to kind of work because people like relate to it in the past. These memes were like kind of a standard already. And so jumping on that format and just executing it well is like, pretty easy.
See, so I love that, right? Because a lot of people assume, something went viral or whatever, got lucky, good timing, whatever. But like, actually, here you are. Like everyone jokes about the cruise thing, but it really worked for you, right? And actually, this was something you actively. Well, I say worked. It got attention, but you actively went out there, found a thing, went, I think this would do really well. Let me turn this into.
I just thought it would be funny, and it was quite funny. So yeah.
Well, yeah, but but that's the skill in it, right? I guess that's the point.
Yeah, it's 100% that. It's like the skill of understanding what's gonna like kind of hit. Is yeah.
So what advice would you give to someone who maybe hasn't been able to sort of break through, or what can they be doing now to sort of get themselves there? Can you not learn it? Like what's the?
I'd say be persistent. Just keep trying, keep showing up every day. Day to day, it might not seem that much progress, but over a span of time, it is. We always underestimate that. So showing up every day. And truly finding your voice. You can only find your voice if you show up and try. So those two things.
From my side, I'm a big fan of Narrative Economics by Robert J. Schiller, and he like introduced their like contagious rate. So that's give me a thought that maybe it's good to focus on the your content. Is it contagious enough? I really like to think about it when I'm creating something that I want to go viral.
Yeah, for me, it's like studying other accounts, like, looking at other, like I mentioned Polymarket, I mentioned them again, but, or like even personal accounts like Function Zero, Lawrence is like quite funny, and like understanding how to get kind of witty is like, it's just reading tweets really, like spending time on the website, and as Dave said, persistence, like the 1% rule is real, like if you keep trying, you'll get better over time, even if it's a small amount every day.
Yeah.
And starting from things that people can relate to, like people love talking about cities, people love talking about food, just lifestyle things like that. Like I tweet about New York. Lawrence tweets about beans and toast.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, someone told me a while ago. There's a lot of British humor in very effective crypto Twitter accounts. I've always been surprised when I meet people. I'm like, oh man, there's another Brit like that. Yeah. I think there's something about I don't know if it's like the sarcastic nature of our humor or something, but clearly I'm not doing a good job of it because I haven't got enough followers. So my humor's wrong, but Jake's figured it out. Cool. Okay. So I think the answer here is then you can go viral if you plan it and you think about it and you do it properly. It's a skill game. You can build lore if you plan it and you think about it. And you can use memes to your advantage because actually they bring some emotional attachment. So it sounds like all of this stuff actually is learnable and teachable. People just don't even realize that. What I'm curious about is like the community side of this. So, right, let's say we figured out how to build some narratives, figured out how to tell some stories. How do you then rally a community around that? Like, how do you see communities form around these things?
Well, first of all, you have to have the community resonate with the meme, with the narrative. And if they don't resonate, then it's a no-go. But if they do resonate, you basically pick out which community members are actually co-creating with you and like they're adding to the story. And then you incorporate what they're saying into the story itself. And so this way, this is what lore building is all about, is creating this collective narrative that's built together and that attracts more people. It's like kind of just everyone's part of the bit. That's how I think about it.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I think supercharging those people that are like fueling the fire is like the best way to do it, yeah.
Okay, so then how has InfoFi ruined or improved that concept?
No, it completely ruined it. It destroyed it. Because like I said before, when I was talking about marketing and people optimizing for metrics, InfoFi is like the end stage of optimizing for metrics where you optimize it too well, I say that in quotes, that completely destroys your goal in the first place. And everybody can see right through it.
I think the current InfoFi is not something that it promised to be because it's optimizing for giving incentives to people to create narratives. And I think like the crucial thing to create community is to create believing, like something that people believe, like honestly, not only for the financial incentive. So you have to, do all of the activities that will cause the believing of the people.
Yeah, I'll never forgive Kaito for ruining the word yap, because I fucking love the word yap, and then they fucking destroyed it. So
I mean, I'm still
I hate
mad at
Kaito.
AI. I'm still mad at AI for ruining the dash. That was like a classic part
The
of my
M-dash,
vocabulary. Like, I just can't use it anymore. It's a nightmare. I mean, actually, talking about because InfoFi, I think AI has a role in this as well, right? So it's kind of been doubled down on, because like the InfoFi thing probably wouldn't have even been as bad if it wasn't so easy for people to actually just create AI slop. In this new world of AI, where, like, let's be honest, it will be agent to agent, there'll be bots online that we have to sell to and talk to. Like, how do you think that changes, or how much more important does this stuff maybe become in a world where, like, we're both people and bots living, together on the internet?
I was recently considering to maybe create a space where only like a humankind can come, and maybe normal people would pay for that, because during that internet theory, we don't know what's true anymore. Yeah, we are seeing tweets that are rage baiting by some trolls or just AI thing. So I think this will be like a meltdown of the current like social media.
Yeah, I think we're already seeing that. There's some projects already starting, like these vouch-based like trust networks. There's like VibeCheck and a few others that are like bubbling up. And I think it will be more important in the marketing sense of like finding these original people. It even happens at conferences. Like, I think most people are here to connect with real people. And I think, like that's what it boils down to, is like they're going to be important, real people. Yeah.
Okay, so then farmers, right? There are bots that are farmers, but there are also real people that are farmers. Are farmers a community? Like, are they I know we all know what they are and what they do, and they're a bit of a pain in the ass, and they destroy.
Are you talking about DeFi farmers or like yappers or?
No, well, more like yappers, more like, okay. I mean, in the InfoFi world, we'll come to staking farmers, but like actual like social farmers, if you like, or airdrop farmers or whatever. Is that actually a community that you should still consider and think about and care about? Like, do they have some value to businesses still?
I've never really seen it done like well. I've always seen it end badly. Like, I've seen people try, like kind of use that as like the starting spark of like a project, and I've always seen it end badly, in my eyes at least. It never ends well, I don't think. Yeah.
I think it depends of the objective of the project. It's not healthy on the long term, but maybe for them it's enough to have like multiple like amount of impression and comments, and they like know that this is all about incentive. Maybe that will work for them, but of course, if you want to believe something, honest, then nah.
I think that generally they're mercenary. I would much rather have long-term stakeholders who truly believe in the project, who are in it for something deeper than people that are just there temporarily for a quick buck.
And I think we've seen that in the rise of these like token sales versus airdrops. Like, I think having skin in the game is important, and I think that's why like a lot of projects are turning to token sales now. Is like having skin in the game changes that perception of like who these mercenaries are. Like, when they actually have money on the line, they're a bit more like friendly, and they're not going to eat their stack as fast as usually they would if they get an airdrop, basically.
Yeah, I guess the challenge is, right, when if you're a protocol, there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of projects, a lot of people saying the same stuff. If you're an early protocol trying to break through, right, you're trying to have some cut through. You might have an amazing product, you might be a great team, but like no one really knows who you are. I think that's where this InfoFi thing sort of started. Really, it was like a distribution channel.
You're much better off hiring a CT lead than investing in InfoFi like that.
There you go. All right, you heard the alpha here.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
They're too expensive, I hear.
They're worth it.
Okay, cool. I wanted to ask you, we kind of talked about this earlier, but I had a few quick fire questions, but one of them was, I wanted to ask about like cringe, right? Because I think all of this stuff is like right on the line of, it can be really good and then you can have instant cringe like very quickly. Particularly, I think we've seen this a lot recently. I think with like the apology letter recently it happened, and there's, like something kicks off, it's really funny for like an hour, and then 3 weeks later, there's still brands posting this stuff, thinking they're being hilarious and they're on trend. Like, at what point does something become cringe? How you decide? Like, if you're running socials, either a founder, a person, a brand, how do you decide when something's cringe? Like, what? How do you know?
It's a tastemaker thing. In the same way that you can identify memes and identify things that could potentially go viral, you can also identify things that are cringe. But cringe doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing. In fact, it can be a positive thing because it shows vulnerability.
Cruise.
Yeah, exactly.
Cruise became cringe, and I accept that. Like at the end, like it was a meme, but yeah.
Well, see, I think it's gone beyond. Like, there's something I read about this ages ago. It's called like the cringe curve, or some crazy weird thing that someone came up with a while ago. And it's basically this idea that like you have this curve of it goes from very cool to like very cringe to very cool again if you wait long enough. And I think the funny thing about crypto is that these cycle that like a normal cycle might be quite long of one of those in the real world, but like in our world in crypto, these cycles are literally hours, sometimes minutes, right? And so it's really hard for a brand to sort of pinpoint when the right time is to do that thing. I remember when everyone was changing their profile to Pudgies after Coinbase did it, and it was like that was hilarious and great for about a day, and then 3 days later people were still doing it. You're like, I know you've spent 3 days asking legal to do this. Yeah. It's not funny anymore. Like
that's exactly it, and it comes back to the legal thing. Like if they have guidelines to be able to know what they can do, they can execute on it quickly, and they can do it in a non-cringe way. Whereas if they're waiting around for too long, it just becomes cringe, yeah. And it is that. It's like quite tasteful. You can't determine like it's not like a week or like it's not a time limit. It's like kind of a vibe. And again, you have to be in the trenches. You have to understand crypto Twitter quite well to understand when the vibe shifts. In my opinion, yeah.
Cool. Well, look, I want to ask you, like on a finishing note, what's like the best advice you'd give someone, or I don't know if there's someone out there who's trying to build their own brand or working for a brand on social, sort of trying to build narratives themselves, build a community around what they're building. What's the top bit of advice you'd give them?
I've got two. So if you're trying to get hired, reply-guying works quite well. Like even like big accounts, like I mentioned Lawrence before. Like I replied Lawrence for like years, and that's kind of how I got my start. I managed to get into a group chat called West Ham, which went quite well. And that's how you get intros, is like knowing people and connecting with people, and reply-guying works for that. If you're a brand, like just like I said, like experimenting, trying stuff, like people forget, so you can try something one day, and if it doesn't work, you can delete it. Like it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, it's better to be tweeting than not tweeting, particularly on personal accounts, yeah.
So of course, trying, repetition, like we said before. I would also say that trying to think what people likes, like trying to be in their skin. Like this is, I think, very important in order to, share stories. They have to be sticky. They have to, be for someone relatable. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's the important fact.
Yeah, I think for people, my advice is be memorable. Find a way to stick out. For me, I have these cherry blossoms that I wear so much that I only wear them to work events because it just reminds me of work. But this is how people recognize me. I've been wearing shirts like this for years. And I noticed this through A/B testing different shirts. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go be the cherry.
Wait, so which shirts don't work? Hold on. What have you...
No, it's not about what doesn't work. It's about what does work. And I realized that people recognize me in this cherry blossom shirt, in these cherry blossom shirts. So that's just like one small example. Like find a way to stick out. Like there's so many people that are just doing the same thing and they're just lost in the crowd. Even if you stick out a little bit, and even if it's even a little cringe, people notice and people start to recognize you and they start to remember you. And my advice for brands is to be patient. Don't try to rush things. Don't try to force things. Understand your audience, understand who you're talking to, and try things off of that and be relatable.
Yeah, I love that. One thing actually I forgot to ask you guys, which if there's any alpha drops, what is the next big narrative that is coming?
What is this?
If you had to bet on it,
this question?
If you had to polymarket it, what is the next big narrative you reckon that's coming that we can jump on now?
I have nothing.
What were you gonna say?
Pokemon cards?
Oh,
It's already been, I think, like the hot...
Pokemon's Lindy.
Yeah, I think the Pokemon cycle is actually ending in January, and it's going to be a bit of a crypto, like a Pokemon winter for a bit. But
Pokemon winter, wow.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's also cyclical. But one thing I was going to say about the brand stuff, about what we were talking about before. If you are a brand if you are a project trying to hire someone to build your brand, Hiring your perfect user, like I said, Hugo Martingale, perfect user for Polymarket. He is the guy that can tweet about these memes. Finding someone in your early community who's like very understands your product to like a very distilled level, like deep level, and hiring them to just like run your socials is better than hiring like a really expensive CMO, in my opinion. Yeah.
That's actually great advice. Great advice. Yeah, I agree. Any big narratives anyone wants to throw out there?
Maybe DeFi Renaissance. I know it's a
DeFi?
Yeah,
What's that?
What's that? Yeah.
I have no idea.
I guess the rise of mobile apps, because Aave's just launching theirs. Plasmas are supposedly coming.
Neobanks.
Yeah, I've heard a bunch of like neobanks, like mobile apps are going to be supposedly huge in the next few months.
So we have seen like a lot of institutional like money flowing into the crypto, but I also think that what we are seeing right now with Aave, with this app, that they also want to go into the retail, like neobanks, you said. We'll see more.
I think crypto is fracturing in 3 different directions. And I used to think it was 2, but now it's actually 3. One is the institutional route, and this is DeFi, stablecoins, the convergence of TradFi and DeFi. They'll just become Fi. Then there's consumer, so that's like your pump funds, that's your mobile apps. And then there's a third one, which I call like the cypherpunk renaissance. So that's privacy, that's Zcash, that's all that stuff. And so I see crypto going into these 3 different directions, and sometimes they do overlap. Like the consumer apps, it's kind of a mix between institutional and consumer.
And Zcash is like got the mobile wallets now, so
yeah,
it's pretty
exactly.
nice. Yeah.
So like I think like the proper framework to look at crypto narratives in the future are those 3 buckets.
Where does AI live in those 3 buckets?
I guess it depends. I guess AI is just another layer, so they exist in all 3, to be honest. But AI is not really part of that framework.
Fair enough. Okay. Awesome. Well, look, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I think some really, really good insight and knowledge there. I'm glad we had a full packed house to hear it. And appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Cruz?
Thanks. Cruz?
Cruz?
6 and 6.
Cruz?